First thing you gotta do after being reborn as a dragon, stay alive and make sure your dragon mom doesn't kill you, because both your parents are pure-blooded true dragons, and you're some wingless little freak. In the proud dragon clan, pure-blooded hatchlings are born with an inherited legacy of skills and techniques. They're naturally decades ahead of every other race right from birth. But you? Mixed blood. No inheritance, no talent, and honestly, not much to look at either. Right now she's staring you down with eyes that could kill. Tell me your true name. You're still in shock from the whole isekai situation, but the moment you hear mom's threat, a name just pops into your head. Nice, Adair. Dragon mom snorts out a puff of white mist. Your sluggish response confirms it. You're basically defective. She raises her claw to crush you right there, but then she remembers, there's a dragon law. No dragon shall consume the flesh and blood of their own kind. Violators get their scales ripped off, tendons pulled out, and their soul burned in the dragon heart furnace. So she finally lowers her claw and decides to just dump you outside later. Let you fend for yourself. And that's when it really hits you. You're in serious danger. I literally reincarnated as the most trash-tier dragon beast in the whole clan. System, get out here and help me. Don't make me beg on my knees. No way, there's actually a system? Shanghai Catalog Modifier. Activated. Beginning initial modifications on the host. Obtain the Touty bloodline. Fused and unlocked innate talent. Touty devours all through the ages. Everything becomes yours. Bro, this is literally the cheat modifier I use in games in my past life. Never thought it'd give me actual power now. But your laughing sets off the dragon mom right next to you. She lets out a low growl. Oh shh! A massive claw smacks you straight into the wall. You pull yourself up, it scrapes all over your body, blood in your mouth. Dragon mom Cartelcoxis is a 170-year-old young dragon, a full 20 meters long. That one swipe nearly ended you. You think I'm still the same pathetic little dragon beast? Think again. You stay quiet and build up your rage inside, silently cursing dragon mom in your head. But the very next second your stomach lets out a massive growl. You look around and there's literally nothing to eat. You're critically wounded and on the verge of death. You need nutrients. Now. Forget it. You open your mouth wide and start gnawing on the ground. You rip off a chunk of grass and dirt, chew it up, and swallow the whole thing. You feel a mysterious energy surge through your body. The nutrients actually worked. Thrilled and not caring at all about the disgusting taste, you just bury your face in the ground and go to town. Meanwhile, on the other side of the nest, besides you, Mom had 3 more eggs, and they're all starting to hatch. Out came 1 male, 1 female. Proper little dragons. And 1 more just like you, a dragon beast. Dragon Mom looks at the 3 of them and starts asking for their true names one by one. Jack Sisterel, the dragon beast that hatched after them. Its bloodline is even thinner than yours. Not even a true name to inherit. Just random squeaking and chirping. Dragon Mom confirms the names of the 2 dragon hatchlings and carefully checks them over. Then she heads back into the cave, drags out a huge rotten stinking fish in her jaws, and drops it in front of the 2 hatchlings. Even though it's literally crawling with maggots. Totally fine for dragons, not even an issue. You're standing right there watching, basically drooling. You're thinking about sneaking over for a bite. But then that last-born dragon beast also starts creeping toward the food with the 2 hatchlings. Dragon Mom roars directly at it. The shockwave blasts it clean off its feet. It hits the ground, rolls a few times, then curls up shaking. Pretty clear. Mom's food is for real dragon hatchling only. Dragon beasts don't get a seat at the table. That instantly kills any plan you had of sneaking over there. Nah, that fish is rotten anyway, probably tastes awful. Dirt and grass is where it's at. Plus there are maggots in it too. While you're busy convincing yourself, that dragon beast comes wobbling right over to you. Eyes glinting. Bro. Turns out seeing how wounded you are, it wants to eat you. But your wounds have mostly healed already. Plus the food earlier gave you nutrients and strengthened your body. You play dead. Wait for it to walk over and open its jaws to take a bite. You snap your head around and sink your teeth right into its throat. The dragon beast feels the bite and starts thrashing immediately, but it can't break free no matter what. If anything, its struggling triggers something primal in your blood. One hard jerk, and you snap its neck clean. Your wounds are healing at a crazy rate. If you ate it, your body would probably get a massive power boost. But in the end, you reluctantly let go. Sure, dragons fight each other sometimes. But killing and eating your own kind? That's a straight-up violation of dragon law. If this ever got out, you'd not only get hunted down, they could revoke your true name. And without a true name, your mother can just eat you. Literally. Just as expected. Dragon Mom's cold eyes never looked away the whole time. But she had no intention of stepping in. Because if you both killed each other, she could just eat the bodies fair and square. Interesting. Alright, time to give out names. Dragon naming convention. True name, clan name, title. Your brother and sister both receive the clan name of Omnilors. Satyr, you're not worthy of a clan name. I'll just call you Klovik. In dragon tongue, Klovik means a scar that barely heals. Pure disrespect. But to stay alive, you grit your teeth and take it. Klovik, this is my chance to grow. I will tear apart everyone who gets in my way. Today I'm the bottom. Tomorrow I'm on top. Just wait, old lady. I'll rip every tendon out of you. Night falls fast. Dragon Mom and the 2 hatchlings are out cold. You, who were pretending to sleep, slowly open your eyes. You carefully get up, make sure you didn't wake Mom, then tiptoe over to a pile of broken bones and remains. These 3 are all fed and sleeping and my stomach is still empty. You grab a bone and shove it in your mouth. Ow, too hard, can't even chew it. Looks like I gotta go find food myself. Just as you're about to leave the cave, you suddenly spot eggshells on the ground. These are the shells the other hatchlings left behind after breaking out. And a dragon is treasure from head to tail. So naturally, the shells are packed with energy too. You grab a handful and stuff it in your mouth. And after a few chews, you're shook. This shell has insane life force in it, like pure concentrated vitality. To keep the crunching from waking those 3 up, you grab all the shells and run outside the cave to eat. The shells crunch and crumble, like a stale, rock-hard cracker that tastes like rotten fish. You power through the nasty taste and finish every last piece. Then it hits your throat like a brick. You rush to the river for water. But when you look at your reflection, you freeze. Bro, why am I so ugly? All red and black, no wings. Clearly not a purebred dragon. Oh well. At least I've got cheats. You pull up the Shanghai catalog. First page, your current Tao-T bloodline. But just having the bloodline isn't enough. The catalog also has an evolution function. You need to collect the right materials to evolve. For example, to fully become a Tao-T, you gotta eat things that match the Tao-T's nature. You stare at your reflection in the water and slowly zone out. One day, went from human to dragon. Barely survived your own mother trying to kill you, and killed your own brother with your own hands. It takes a long time for the noise in your head to quiet down. You slowly crawl back to the cave entrance, look at the rotting fish bones, think for a second, and bury them somewhere hidden. Can't chew through them now doesn't mean I can't later. Stockpiling food is never a bad idea. Dragon Mom sure isn't feeding a lowly beast like you. You crawl back into the cave to sleep. Living with those 3 dragons is miserable, but with your current strength, going out into the world is basically a death sentence. So until you're strong enough to stand on your own, you've got no choice but to stick close to Mom. New day. First thing you do, head straight to yesterday's river. And the moment you get close, you nearly jump out of your scales. Your appearance has changed. Your body's bulkier than yesterday, and small bone spikes have grown out of your elbow joints. You peek into the river. Tons of fish swimming around. You let out a roar and leap in. Bubbles start rising on the surface. Help! I'm drowning! You hold your breath and slowly claw your way from the bottom up to the shallows, then collapse on the riverbank spread eagle, gasping for air. Swallowed a belly full of water, but hey, also gulped down a few small fish and shrimp. You stand up and think it through. Even if I learn to swim, fish are faster in the water. No way to catch them like that. But then the isekai advantage kicks in. You run back to the cave, dig up yesterday's fish bones and pull out one good piece. Grind it into a sharp spike with a rock, then find a vine and tie it on tight. Boom. A DIY fish hook. Rough as heck, but it'll do the job. If a fish swallows this thing and it catches in its throat, you're pulling it out either way. You find a fat finger-sized worm in the forest, fight every urge to eat it yourself, thread it on the hook and toss it in the water. An hour passes, not a single bite. Maybe I should have used some chum? Just when you're about to give up, the vine in your hand gets yanked with serious force. Yo, big one. You get pulled forward and almost eat it. You recover and grab the vine, pulling back hard. That fish has insane strength underwater. Can't fight it head on. After a few minutes of tug of war, you're running low on strength. Idea strikes. You tie the vine to a nearby tree. The fish pulls so hard the whole tree shakes. Every time the tension drops and you yank with everything you've got. Finally the fish tires out. You haul it onto the bank. This thing is massive. Over a meter long, almost as big as you. You immediately sink your teeth into its belly. Fish and nutrients pour into your stomach. Oh, that's good. I mean, yeah, dragons gotta eat meat. That's just facts. In no time, the fish is completely gone, and not even a crumb. You let out a satisfied burp and flop down under a tree. Consumed iron crocodile fish. Passive skill unlocked, fish flow. With the catalog's notification, you feel something shift in your body. Like water just became second nature to you. You jump in to test it, and the guy who couldn't swim is now gliding through the water like a fish. You climb back out, feeling a little wiped out. Dragons are naturally ahead of all other races by decades. Just eat and sleep, and your power multiplies on its own. And if you want to break free from Dragon Mom's territory, you gotta get strong as fast as possible. For now, the most efficient thing you can do is sleep. You head back to the cave. Brother and sister are already eating. Dragon Mom's stash of rotten fish. Black dragons have a habit of storing their kills, and waiting for the meat to rot before eating it. And of course, as a dragon beast, you get nothing. Dragon Mom's eyes land on you. She thought you ran off, but you actually came back. She squints and notices, you've changed. In just one day, you've grown to a level that a normal hatchling takes over a month to reach. By dragon standards, a pretty solid physical foundation. Too bad you're a dragon beast. No matter how strong a dragon beast gets, in front of a true dragon, you're still just a lowly underling. She takes a few more looks, then loses interest completely. You watch the 2 hatchlings get fed without lifting a claw. Of course you're a little jealous. My dumb little Udido and Isitor, I eat less and do more. Make it make sense. The thought of having to hustle for every single meal on your own, the grind-set spirit inside you ignites. Naysayer, you pathetic little runt. How dare you sleep in the same cave as me? Get out! The one talking is your own brother. Wait, what's your name again? Zoljax Istirail. You mongrel. You can't even remember your own master's name? You raise an eyebrow. Bro's got some serious ego for someone his size. Size-wise though, Zoljax is definitely a whole size smaller than you. On one, you're confident. You could absolutely body Zorgarks. But if you beat him too hard, Dragon Mom might just kill you for it. In dragon culture, power is everything. How does a weakling like you even dare call yourself a master? Your name's too long. I'm just gonna call you Zorga. Any objections? You slipped that rule in real smooth. And just like that, Dragon Mom, who was itching to act, went completely quiet. Power is everything in dragon society. If a true dragon can't stand up to a dragon beast, that's on them for being trash. You caught on quick. Dragon Mom wasn't gonna interfere. This little black dragon may have inherited bloodline knowledge, but his brain's got nothing on a reincarnator like you. The second you clapped back, Zorga charged straight at you. You didn't back down either. You charged head on and slammed right into Zorga. What you didn't expect though, even though you looked bigger, Zorga's raw strength had you beat. What? Your strength is the same as a dragon beast's? You call yourself a dragon? Go back in your egg and cook for 2 more years. Inside, you started taking this seriously. But on the outside, you kept it playful. Your trash talk sent Zorga into a full-on rage. He came swinging his claws right at you. This time he tapped into his power. You were about to clash with him again. But at the last second, you slipped around to his back. Your claws looped up from behind his wings and locked around Zorga's neck in an instant. At the same time, your legs coiled tight around his waist. It's a weird move, but it worked like a charm. No matter how hard Zorga pushed, he just couldn't break free from that chokehold. Instead, all that struggling was burning through his stamina fast. You disgusting little mutt. Get off me right now. Your eyes went cold. Just because you're watching Dragon Mom doesn't mean you have no temper. Your claw raked hard across Zorga's neck. Those dragon claws sliced through his scales like a blade. Zorga let out a deep, pained grunt. A bloodline this hollow dares call itself a dragon? Take that crumbling power of yours and go silent forever. Didn't see that coming. The pain actually made that loser Zorga start crying. Right then. Dragon Mom's half-closed eyes finally opened. You may fight each other for the next 10 years, but no killing under the same roof. Dragon Mom couldn't help herself. She wasn't about to watch her own dragon kid get killed. By as much. You let go even though you really didn't want to. The second Zorga broke free. He ran straight to Dragon Mom and started bawling. What a useless little crybaby. Dragon Mom's gaze shifted to you. She didn't say a word, but you saw the warning in her eyes. The danger you just showed was a threat to her other two kids. If you don't reel it in, Dragon Mom might just take you out early. You weren't happy about it internally, but you kept that off your face. You found a corner and went to sleep. This nap ended up lasting 5 whole days. When you woke up after those 5 days, your body had changed noticeably. Your muscles were more packed, and your body had grown bigger. You glanced over to the side. The other 2 young dragons were eating. Dragon Mom had prepared a mountain of food just for the 2 of them, to make sure they had enough to grow. But even now, they were still half a head shorter than you. Zorga's eyes were filled with hate when he looked at you. But the moment you looked back, Zorga snapped his head down. Pathetic and spineless as always. You stretched out a bit, and headed out to hunt for food. But just as you were about to walk out of the cave, your little sister Ethereal suddenly called out to you. Where are you going? Mom's taking a nap. I'm the one in charge of food distribution. Want to come enjoy some of this delicious rotting meat? That's when you noticed. Dragon Mom's snoring was echoing from the back of the cave. So what's the catch? Bow to me. Ethereal stretched her neck up, but since she was shorter than you, she had to tilt her head back just to look at you. Sorry, the way I was raised doesn't allow me to do that. You turned to leave right away, but then Ethereal tossed over one more line. Fresh kill. It's a magical beast. Goes by Soul Lure Flame. You gulped hard. Your stomach started growling. Magical beasts can use magic, so their bodies are naturally packed with mana. Faced with the temptation, you stood up straight and flashed a little smile. My lady, you've got an eye for dragons. Whatever you say goes from here on out. Honestly, I've been wanting to pledge loyalty to you for a while now. My admiration for you runs deeper than the Mississippi. No end in sight. Ethereal, barely 6 days old, turned a little red from all that flattery. All right, fine. I'll accept your loyalty. Now shut up. Never leave free money on the table. Dignity, what's that? Can you eat it? You didn't hesitate for a second. You placed your hand on this massive mana source and started draining it at full power. Gotta hand it to a powerful beast. The moment that pure energy rushed into your body, it flooded every last vein. That mountain of accumulated mana got completely absorbed by you, every last drop. Watching you eat your fill and just flop down, Ethereal gritted her teeth. To show off her generosity, she had specifically picked the strongest magical beast to gift you. And here you are, eating with juice dripping everywhere. Ethereal was fuming, but to keep up that dragon pride, she couldn't say anything. Devoured Soul Lure Flame, gained skill, Shadow Slip. When activated, briefly merges your body into the shadows. Sprint speed plus 20%. Then you made an insane discovery. On the Shanghai scroll, the touty illustrations, claw section had actually lit up. To speed up your evolution, you decided to head outside and explore. You made your way to Fueling Swamp. The place was full of muddy puddles and sludge everywhere. And on top of that, it was blanketed in miasma. Natural energy was pretty weak here. This territory really wasn't that great. Only a dragon species like the black dragon, who loves damp, dark places, would ever pick this spot. Dragon Mom had built the nest in a river valley. The river here moved slowly. A pretty gentle current, based on your past life geography knowledge. Heavier metals and rocks tend to settle and sink in places like this. So if there were any rare ores or gemstones out there, they'd likely get washed right into this area. You were strolling along the riverbed when something suddenly caught your eye. You spotted something glowing on a dead tree nearby. When you got closer, you found it was a lantern-like plant. On closer inspection, it was actually a sac-shaped fungus, hollow inside with this sickly sweet smell of rotting fruit. You had no idea what this thing was. But whatever. You tore off a big chunk and tossed it straight in your mouth. Super sweet, really fragrant. Except your body started going a little numb. Consumed paralysis lantern shroom. Paralysis resistance +1. Poison resistance +1. After eating it, you noticed the numbness and discomfort faded away pretty quickly. No other side effects, so you just went to town on it. One downside though. No matter how much you eat, the stat boost only counts once. You munched as you walked, arms full of lantern shrooms, barely able to carry them all. You stopped and started ripping vines off the trees. You were trying to weave yourself a basket, but after working on it forever, you, full of excitement, realized you were absolutely terrible at crafting. You'd basically wrapped yourself into a dumpling. You let out a roar, ripped all the vines off your body, slammed them on the ground in frustration, let out a long sigh, dropped the vines and was about to give up. But right at that moment, a thorny vine under your feet shot out of nowhere and coiled tight around your body. It yanked you hard into the bushes. By the time you realized what was happening, you'd already been swallowed by a 2-meter-tall pitcher plant. Note: this plant is called a blood-vine symbiosis cage. It's a type of symbiotic plant. For any human or creature that accidentally wanders in, this highly corrosive liquid would instantly melt the flesh right off their bones. But you've got black dragon blood running through your veins. You're locked in the cage, completely clueless, and it can't do a thing to you. You looked down at the corrosive liquid, opened your mouth and took a sip. Smacked your lips a couple times. A little tangy, kinda sweet, with a spicy kick in the throat. Kinda tastes like fizzy fruit juice. That's your official review. After that, you just opened wide and chugged the whole corrosive fluid straight down. Drank the bloodvine cage stomach acid. Corrosion resistance +1. Poison resistance +1. Short-term wound recovery +20%. After downing that mystery drink, you let out a burp. You made a fist, punched the lid clean off, and slowly climbed out. You felt a sting in your leg. It was the blood vine. Almost forgot. You just yanked the vine off and strapped the pitcher plant right onto your back. All natural backpack and sorted. You snacked and grabbed things as you went, picking up a whole haul of wild fantasy plants. You weren't worried about running into any powerful beasts. Dragon Mom's presence alone was enough of a threat in this area. She'd already swept the nearby magical beasts clean. You also had one more goal. Find yourself a cave. Your changes were getting more and more obvious. and staying near Dragon Mom too long was gonna raise some eyebrows. As you walked, a small hill came into view. There was a naturally formed stone cave on it. You ran up to the entrance, pumped. The size, the vibe, you were totally satisfied. You instinctively twitched your nose, and immediately scrunched up your face. You started digging up the dirt on the floor. Underneath were a bunch of animal bones. After confirming there were no dangerous beasts inside, you stepped in. The whole floor was covered in bones and fur. You dug through all the remains, and found some half-disintegrated fabric. Wait, these are human clothes? You kept digging eagerly, then found a leather travel bag. Inside were matches, a map, and some weird-looking rocks. You grabbed a match and struck it. The cave on the right side flashed with firelight. Matches still work. You stashed the rest of the gear, found some dry wood and got a fire going. You used the light to look over the map in front of you. It's a map of Fueling Swamp. Can't read the writing, but you can roughly figure out what the drawings mean. There's even a route showing how to leave Fueling Swamp. Then by the firelight, you spotted the rocks inside the bag. One blood-red crystal was giving off a faint glow. You could feel the dense mana packed inside it. Without a second thought, you swallowed it whole. The mana exploded in your mouth, and after passing through the Taudi's stomach for absorption, you gained a trace of mana. You pocketed the rest of the gemstones that had no mana. Then you did a quick renovation on the cave. You cleared out all the stinky bones and stacked boulders at the entrance to keep other creatures from getting in. After that, your stomach started rumbling again. You found a river nearby and made a fish hook just like last time to catch something to eat. But the fish you caught this time didn't give you any skills or talents. While you were eating and thinking, the fishing line suddenly went crazy. The vine pulled taut. Way stronger than the iron croc you dealt with last time. You tied the vine to a tree just like before. But this fish was smarter. You ease up, it eases up. You made a big running leap into the water, swimming toward the struggling fish. A good while later, a scream echoed through the pond. You stumbled back to shore. 3 poison spines jammed in your butt, bleeding out. You gritted your teeth and pulled the spines out, then opened wide and bit your own butt, sucking hard. But you sucked a little too hard. Accidentally swallowed the poison blood you just sucked out. Both legs went stiff and you passed out. When you came to, 2 days had already gone by. The thought that you almost died to a poisonous fish had you heated. The more you thought about it, the angrier you got. You tugged the vine, still feeling strong resistance on the other end. Good, it's still there. Watch how I deal with you. You headed upstream and hauled over boulders and branches, blocking off the upstream flow. While waiting for the pond to dry up, you weren't just sitting around. You pulled out the poison spines from your butt, grabbed some sticks and vines, and rigged them together into 3 spears. About a day later, the fish that put 3 spines in your butt finally surfaced. You pulled it out of the water with the vine. On closer look, a giant catfish, 2 meters long. Dozens of black spines running along its back. The catfish took one look at you, and suddenly arched up and launched itself at you. Spines aimed straight at your kidney. You panicked and dove out of the way, face planting into the muddy pond. Bro, the butt's one thing, but if it hits my kidney, I'd be dealing with kidney issues for life. The more you thought, the madder you got. You grabbed a big wooden club and started going absolutely ham on the catfish's head. The fish was in pain, but still tried to fight back. You swung again, but after beating on it forever, the log snapped in half. The catfish still wasn't dead. You pulled out the fish spine spear you made earlier and drove it in hard, killing the catfish for good. You hauled the catfish back to your cave and started roasting it over the fire. You sprinkled on some tangy spicy plants, and the smell hit immediately. The second it was done, you grabbed it and went to town. In no time flat, you'd put away hundreds of pounds of catfish. Devoured poison spine catfish, gained talent, toxic bone spines. Next second, the joints and backbones under your skin mutated. Bone spines started forming. You let out a burp and just laid down to sleep. When you opened your eyes, your body had grown another size bigger. When you walked back to the nest, the 2 young dragons saw you coming and thought you were an invading beast. You were nearly 3 meters tall now, looking straight up terrifying. Nissard, where did you go? Why did it take you this long to come back? Don't think I won't cut off your food supply. That little dragon's all high and mighty, which was annoying as hell, but Ethereal controlled the food supply. If you kept her happy, you'd get a steady stream of magical beasts. You stayed quiet for a long time. Ethereal started getting impatient, but then she took a good look at how terrifying you looked now and nervously swallowed a mouthful of spit. Then you slowly lowered your head and locked eyes with Ethereal. What are you doing? Ethereal stepped back twice. But who would have guessed? Next second, you just plopped down on the ground. Startled the heck out of Ethereal. I'm innocent, my lady. That day I went to the pond to get a drink. Spotted a gemstone. And reached in to grab it. Next thing I know, I slipped and fell into the ravine. I literally risked my life getting back here. As you said that, you turned around to show Ethereal the wound on your butt. Oh, really? Seeing Ethereal zone out, you reached into your bag and pulled out a dark red gemstone. No matter how bad I get hurt, no matter how much I suffer, as long as I can give you this gem, I have 0 regrets, even if it kills me. You put on this whole dramatic speech, face full of pain, and pressed the ruby right into Isty's hand. And Isty just froze, staring at this beautiful gem. Could it be this brother of mine actually cares about me that much? The narrator says Isty's whole be loyal to you thing was a strategy from the start. Use you to keep her brother Zolga in check and lock down her own position. She never actually saw you as a real brother, but she didn't expect you to treat her this well. Isty, this naive little dragon girl, was genuinely touched on the spot. Wait, really? I was wrong about you. Come eat! As a reward for your loyalty, I'll pick a magical beast and give it to you. You turned away after hearing that like you didn't want Isty to see you cry. But honestly, you were about to burst out laughing. Ha ha ha! This little dragon is so easy to fool! Now I get a free magical beast to eat. Isty then brought over a sheep-type magical creature. This is a phantom horn spirit. Its horns can refract light and create mirages. Isty's explanation left you confused, though. How do you even know that? All the food for us young dragons came from our dragon mom, this antelope included. There's no way Isty would know the details on this beast. It's a skill from the dragon clan's inherited legacy. Dragon Eye. It lets you see through the true nature of anything. As she said that, Isty started chanting a dragon clan spell. By the ancient law, heed my call. Mommy baby ho! As the dragon tongue rang out, Isty's eyes lit up with a blazing glow. She locked onto the gem in her hand. Then a stream of info about the red gem flooded into her mind. Thorn ruby. It can reflect damage back onto whoever attacks its owner. An incredibly rare magical gemstone. Bro, you are seriously lucky. How did you even stumble onto something like this? In human society, this thing could buy half a city. You were still in awe of how insane Dragon Eye is. But then the second half of what she said hit you like a truck. Wait, what did you just say? Give it back. You're telling me this gem is that valuable? You immediately wanted to take it back. But Isty just scoffed and swallowed the gem whole right then and there, completely ignoring you grinding your teeth on the side. At the time, the gem just looked like a dark reddish orange on nothing special. Didn't think it'd turn out to be this big of a deal. And you just gave it away. With no other choice, you choked back tears and ate the Phantom Horn and unlocked a new skill. Phantom Light. Blasts out a blinding glow, dazzles enemies, and spawns a phantom decoy. At the same time, Tao Ti's body in the Shanghai catalog lit up. You took a close look at Tao Ti's portrait in the Shanghai catalog. All of Tao Ti's traits have now been activated. The only thing left is the eyes. Still haven't completed the set. But once you do, it'll evolve into a full Tao Ti dragon beast. The thing is, you've already tried a ton of beasts with eyes. None of them could light it up. Speaking of which, that Dragon Eye skill Isty just mentioned? It's part of the Dragon Clan's inherited legacy. A skill that lets dragons identify anything in existence. According to Isty, Dragon Eye was co-created by the two supreme dragon gods of the Dragon Clan, back before they had their falling out, as a soul bloodline resonance system. It automatically instills knowledge, skills, and historical memories. It's what keeps the dragon bloodline pure and their civilization alive. Once a dragon reaches a certain age or power level, they can unlock the corresponding legacy. But for someone like you, low bloodline purity, you can only receive super fragmented pieces of it. Outside of your true name and dragon tongue, you basically got nothing. You know nothing. These dragon gods, man. Once I evolve into an ancient dragon, I'm breaking this whole legacy system apart. While you were lost in thought, Isty slipped into a corner of the cave on the other side. She slowly coughed up the thornblood jade you had given her. The gem gave off a faint dark red glow. Stunning, honestly. Sure, he's just some low-tier dragon beast, but gotta admit, pretty loyal. I'll never accept him as a real brother, though. But once I awaken the Dragon Covenant, I'm bringing him under my command. Sharing a bit of power with him? Not a bad deal. If my followers are too weak, that's just gonna be a headache for me as their master. And so the three of you settled into this chill daily routine. Eat, sleep, repeat. Every now and then you'd head out under the excuse of gem hunting to explore the Fueling Valley. Every time you came back, you'd have a bunch of rocks with you. You'd have Isty use Dragon Eye to identify them. Any gem with decent magic power, you'd quietly eat it yourself first. A month went by. Dragon Mom still hadn't woken up from her deep sleep. And the three of us hit a new problem. We ran out of food. Dragon Mom had set up a barrier inside her sleeping cave to make sure no one disturbed her rest. That magical barrier? 3 young dragons had zero chance of breaking through it. In theory, dragons can survive on rocks, grass, dirt, that kind of stuff. But for a proud dragon clan, eating that? Absolutely humiliating. So to actually get food, you all had no choice but to go hunt. You did have hunting experience. And you'd actually stockpiled quite a lot of food in your secret cave. But obviously you weren't about to expose that secret, so you went along with Isty and Zolga to hunt. I feel like we've gone pretty far from the den. Maybe we should hunt closer to home. You threw out the suggestion and Zolga shut it down immediately. All you do is suck up to your master for food? Can't even handle a hunt? That thin dragon blood running through you should be ashamed of itself. Because she was cast off by Dragon Mom, Isty, who should have been just his little sister, had taken full control over food distribution. Zuerga had no choice but to submit. And because you kept bringing in gems, Isty actually thought pretty highly of you. You always got a bigger share of the food than him. Which is exactly why Zuerga ended up stunted. And if it weren't for you, the food the Dragon Mom left behind was actually enough for both of them. They wouldn't even need to go out hunting. So yeah, Zuerga absolutely despises you now. I'm just worried about you. You turned and looked at Zuerga. Zuerga froze. He thought you were backing down, already gearing up to keep talking trash. But your next line hit different. His dragon face went full tomato red. Worried that a deadweight like you would run into some random beast and end up as its next meal. You're not gonna argue with this dumbass dragon. Talking smack is just too satisfying. What did you just say? Zuerga bared his teeth instantly. A faint trace of rotten dragon breath seeped out of his mouth. Dragon breath is literally the strongest attack a true dragon has. Every dragon species has its own unique type. Even a hatchling's breath can tear right through a knight's full plate armor. And on top of that, dragon breath has insane magic-breaking properties. Most mages' magic shields can't even hold up against it. For dragons, breathing on someone is basically a declaration of war. That's why Zuerga had the nerve to step up. He had backup. Sure, you've got that cheat code buff, but you still need to level up. Zuerga may have issues, but he's still got full pureblood dragon lineage and heritage. The only reason he lost to you was hand-to-hand combat. But right now, if he lets loose a full dragon breath blast, your body might not be able to tank it. Alright, I'm calling it. We're hunting on the outer perimeter. Save all that beef energy for the hunt. Yisty straight up shut down your whole argument. He spoke. So you two had no choice but to fall in line. The 3 of you, all young dragons, were out searching for prey near the dragon lair. The 2 true dragons started chanting, and just like that, a gust of wind lifted them into the air. You watched them soaring through the sky, honestly a little jealous. But you weren't stressed about it. There are tons of flying beasts in the Dragon Slayer's Codex. Stay the course, and flying is just a matter of time. Just then the 2 dragons landed. They'd been scanning from the air forever and found absolutely nothing. Since, Dragon Mom had already cleaned out everything nearby. You threw out a suggestion. Maybe we check out the swamps and ponds. There's plenty of aquatic life out there. The 2 dragons had no better ideas, so they followed you into a swamp. You'd barely arrived when you spotted several crocodile-type beasts. These were axiscale crocs, native to this area. You weren't trying to risk it catching these things. Figured grabbing a few fish from the shallows was good enough. No need to poke the bear. But Yeasty flat out rejected that, insisting on hunting axiscale crocs and dragging you along. No way I'm walking into a death trap. No matter how much the other two young dragons came at you, you refused to take a single step into that swamp. You had stockpiled food, no reason to risk it. Whatever, Zuerga, let's go, Nasad. Don't even think about getting a cut of our hunt later. Yeasty let out a cold snort and beat his wings, flying straight into the swamp. Absolute idiots. You only need 2 seconds of thinking to figure it out. This is smack in the middle of Dragon Mom's territory. And yet a whole colony of crocs is living here? That means there's something here even Dragon Mom can't handle. So you stayed on the bank, occasionally flipping up a few bugs from the swamp to snack on. Yeasty and Zuerga, those two had a pretty simple game plan. They came in from both sides to herd the crocs, slowly cutting 1 or 2 out from the group. Then hit him with fire breath. The crocs were screaming. On the other side, Zuerga took out a croc with his corrosive breath. Ha! You see that? That's the power of a true dragon. But then you noticed something was off. These crocs weren't that smart. They only retreated to the water holes when the 2 young dragons herded them. They'd crawl back into the swamp puddles. But just now, all the crocs suddenly started scrambling to hide. You stared at the puddle beneath you. The calm little pool was starting to ripple. Something was coming. Deep in the murky swamp, 2 lantern-sized glowing orbs surfaced. You looked closer. Those weren't lanterns. Those were the eyes of something massive. Yo, something's coming! You shouted the warning at the top of your lungs. The 2 young dragons spotted the disturbance in the swamp too. The creature emerged from the mud. It was a giant axis-scale croc. Just the head alone sticking out of the swamp was 4 meters. Yeasty, who was closest, spotted the massive beast and immediately tried to bolt. The axis-scale king roared and opened its jaws wide, launching a barrage of toxic slime. It shot toward Yeasty like a volley of arrows. Yeasty's wings got hit by the venom and he lost total control, plummeting from the sky. He crashed down onto a ring-shaped island in the middle of the swamp. The axis-scale king let out another roar, snapped its jaws open, and lunged at Yeasty on the island's edge. The little dragon was absolutely terrified. He scrambled and crawled toward the center of the island. The giant croc hauled half its body onto the island, then stopped and looked around like it was watching for something. What is it afraid of? You picked up on it. This axis-scale king was refusing to leave the swamp. That was Zuerga. He'd already booked it back. That's the axis-scale king, the lord of this little swamp. Let's get out of here! The black dragon hatchling who was acting all big and bad just a moment ago was now scared stiff. If he had been the one hit, falling into that water would have been a death sentence. Turns out, before Dragon Mom Kalta showed up, the king was the original ruler of this axis-scale croc territory. Dragon Mom straight up snatched his turf. But in the swamp and the mud, that's the king's home turf. He could actually go toe-to-toe with the black dragon. Which let the evil king hold on to his last little patch of territory. And that's exactly why, even as the thaw rolled in and prey was almost all gone, this one swamp still had plenty of life in it. Let's go now! If that thing locks onto us, we're not getting away. Zuerga was rushing you to bail. As for Isti trapped in the middle of the ring island, not his problem. Isti could already tell her 2 brothers were thinking about running. She was stuck dead center on that ring island. If they left, even if the evil king was too scared to come ashore, she'd still be trapped there until she starved. You put your head down, thinking. If you just let Isti die, then everything Longma hunts from now on goes straight to Zuerga, which means you'd have nothing to eat. But even so, there's no way you're risking your neck for Isti. Just hang in there a little longer. I'll go get Longma! Hearing that, Isti felt a spark of hope. The evil king, after refusing to come ashore, turned and slipped back into the swamp. But Isti's dragon instincts told her. He was still down there under the water, staring at her with pure hunger. Can at least one of you stay with me? I'm scared! She'd completely dropped that dragon pride, flat out begging for someone to stay. Alright, fine. Nice aid. You stay here with her. I can fly. I'll find Longma and be back before you know it to get Isti out. At this point, Isti's only shot was Longma coming to the rescue. But watching Zuerga fly off, you knew. Isti's chances were basically 0. And sure enough, Zuerga stopped not far from the dragon nest. If Isti gets taken out by the evil king, all of Longma's future hunts go straight to me. Plus, I've never liked Isti anyway. A twisted idea started forming in Zuerga's head. Then he flew back to the swamp. Nice aid, you still there? Isti's voice drifted through the swamp gas. Ever since Zuerga left, Isti had been calling out to you every few minutes. This little dragon just wouldn't stop. You were half draped over a tree, annoyed out of your mind. In front of you, a clawed croc had been torn into pieces. Prey the 2 of you had hunted earlier. Devour axe-head shark. Gained rotting venom itch. Attacks inflict poison. Damage boosted by 50% while moving forward. Isti noticed you hadn't said anything in forever and thought you'd already bounced. Nice aid, you still there? Don't you dare leave! The whole area was thick with swamp gas, and every now and then the water would slap against the ring island. The little dragon was absolutely terrified. She started crying. And when you heard that, your eyes started spinning with ideas. I'm here. But honestly, looks like Zuerga's not coming back either. It's way too dangerous here. I'm out. You stood up, pretending to leave. I order you to stay right there. Every man for himself, babe. Nothing I can do. I gotta go. Besides, you never even treated me like a brother. Always just called me by my name. Isti's eyes were full of tears, her whole body trembling from fear. Bro! Isti's voice was barely above a whisper. Barely audible, but laced with anger and embarrassment. You're literally just some low-tier dragon beast. How dare you mess with me like this? What? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I'm leaving. Brother. Oh, fine, you sneaky little opportunist. Isti shouted. The second half was full of complaints. But honestly, it felt good to hear. That's what you get for always forcing me to hand over my loot. Now you see what I'm capable of. You were thinking about messing with her a little more. When out of nowhere, Zuerga came flying back. Longma still hasn't woken up. Looks like it's on us to go save Isti. Hearing that, you glanced at Zuerga. Since when does this guy have a heart? I'll draw the evil king away. You swim to the ring island and carry Isti back. Yeah, this guy was definitely up to something. Sure, drawing the evil king away sounds more dangerous on the surface, but going to the ring island and back takes time. And if the evil king doubled back midway, you'd be done for. What? You just don't care about saving our sister? You're just gonna watch her die? Zuerga. Just like that. He hit you with the full guilt trip, and you genuinely couldn't think of a counter. If you're really that much of a coward, So spineless you'd leave your own family to die. I could kill you right now and Longmo wouldn't even blame me that much. Zuerga's eyes went cold, locked onto you. Toxic breath ready to fire at any second. Whoa, chill out.
Hold on a sec!
Just go save her already, save me! Isti saw you hesitating and totally panicked. He furrowed your brow, gave Zuerga a look, then cracked a smile. You know what, you're right. We'll do it your way. We're both going to save Isti. You still can't fly. If it comes to a real fight, Zuerga up in the air raining down attacks, yeah, you wouldn't stand a chance.